New York and Pennsylvania continue exploring digital ID. So, from an article yesterday, the 26th, the fourth and fifth biggest states are looking to begin providing more digitized services in the future. Yeah, they are. Services is probably the wrong word for that. Hey everybody, JT here, Serenity Firearms Prepping. So, I had heard last week that hochul was again pushing the digital ID. I believe that this is a preliminary step to accumulate as much information on all of us as they can as the Cbdc is being implemented and the UBI. But in order for these tyrants to come up with a UBI for each individual person, universal basic income. There won't be a individual amount for everybody. There'll be X amount for all those who fall into category A. And then there'll be another amount for all those who fall into category B and C. And it'll all be based on kind of what's everyone's income now, regardless of where that income comes from. Then they'll factor in your social credit score and your carbon footprint. Probably the first group class of people are all those currently sucking on the government teat who do nothing. Officially useless eaters. They don't have housing expenses because you and I pay for it. They don't have cell phone expenses because you and I pay for it. They often are even given cars that are donated by other libtards or were bought because you and I pay for it. Plus, they get their monthly stipend. So I don't know what way that'll go. A lot of these people get way too much. But then they'll be the working class. But they need to gather as much information on everyone as they can first to establish amounts, buying limits, meaning what you can buy, how much you can buy of it, and when you're allowed to buy it. That's what I think is going on here. At first, they will make it voluntary. They may make it mandatory right off for all the government dependents. Because don't they already have a card? So they'll just be making that digital, and these lemmings will gleefully fall for it. So let's continue on reading the article. Okay, before we get too far into it, this is this.com. So when you come here, this will come up. And over here is a petition to stop digital ID. If you scroll down, it will allow you to add your signature and see some more news from them if you want to. All right, so let's dive. So, the Scamorama pandemic has helped provide governments with an impetus to usher in digital ID systems under the guise of convenience and, of course, safety. New York and Pennsylvania have both proposed forms of digital ID that government officials are claiming will help citizens manage their identity, and protect their digital data. I am sure. New York's Chief Customer Experience Officer. New York tyrant Herr Hochul has proposed the creation of a Chief Customer Experience Officer to oversee the development of digital ID. Yeah, let's make another bureaucratic position paid gobbles of money we don't have. The state is already working to create a secure mobile app that allows users to store and manage their personal data. The app will use facial recognition to authenticate users, and it will be designed to be faster and more secure than other forms of digital ID. By eliminating bureaucratic hurdles, simplifying processes, and utilizing new technology, we will vastly improve the way New Yorkers access services and benefits from state agencies, Herr Hochul said. So, see the words? Services, benefits from state agencies. My earlier assessment that it would be the people on the government teat first seems to be correct. The release also outlined the launch of One ID for New York State and New York.gov ID, something the state's chief information officer, Tony Riddick, described as a service that captures all the information that we get from our customers into one identification. That, without this libtard socialist knowing it, using the term captures all the information that we get into one identity, just verified what we're talking about. I continue. The state is also exploring ways to use blockchain technology to ensure the data is kept secure and up to date. By using blockchain, the state says it can ensure that data is stored securely and updated in real time, meaning they have access to it anytime they want, and they can update it in real time when they're going to change your social credit score or your carbon footprint or your UBI or your rations. So while New York is doing that, Pennsylvania is pushing for mobile driver's licenses and ID cards. They're inspired by Louisiana and Miller here, Dan Miller, Democrat from Allegheny. Shocker. This embraces the reality that fewer and fewer people are carrying the traditional wallets or purses. We're going to keep scrolling down because it's all the same thing. In the end, they are simply trying to throw out all the feel-good words for you so that everyone thinks how convenient it would be. We almost do everything on our phone now. Oh, and facial recognition. No. So in conclusion, as the scamdemic, plandemic continues to create new challenges, no, our refusal to comply with their tyranny creates the challenges, including testing the rights of speech, assembly, and more. No, we're not testing those. We're exercising our rights. The government is testing ways to do away with them. So governments are turning to digital ID solutions and assuring their citizens they can manage their identities and protect their data. No. New York's proposed Chief Customer Experience Officer and Pennsylvania's proposed legislation both aim to create a secure and user-friendly system that allows citizens to securely manage their identity. But only time will tell if these socialist technological advances help or hinder residents' day-to-day life. So who actually believes that this will help your day-to-day life? Hinder? Oh yeah. Like I said, in part 1 and part 2 of my inevitable Cbdc, this was likely going to be the first step for them to gather all the information they can on us. This will be probably mandatory for all government teat suckers, voluntary for everyone else. State employees may not have a choice in this as well. And they're gathering, and it'll all be voluntary for most people for a year, and then it'll be made mandatory. Now remember, like I said, in May, if Pedo Joe's not gone, Blinken has the authority to sign that WHO and WEFR new treaty that signs over our sovereignty to those two globalist organizations. So keep your eyes on this. I'm going to pay attention to this. They try and do a lot of stuff under the radar so we don't hear about it until it's implemented. But remember that little petition site? Seriously remember, food, water, ways to purify or filtrate that water, medicine, Band-Aids, anything you can get. www.storagechef.com, SFP15. That's your discount code. But get it anywhere you can. Like, share, subscribe, comment, notification bell. But for now, JT, sign.